Joining us now to discuss retired U.S. military intelligence officer assigned to the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, Steve Rogers, plus retired FBI agent Colin Schmitt. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. We have a man on the loose, killed 18 people. Army reservist, said he was hearing voices inside of his head. Weapons training, outdoors training. Steve, we're going to start with you first. Where do they even begin to try and track him down now that the house was empty?
Well, let me share this with you, and by all means, this is not a criticism. It is an observation that I made regarding the last press conference, and I don't have all the intelligence they have, but I'm just wondering why they gave all that information out. The staging area of the police, the staging area of the divers, where they were, where they're going, to a point to let the press know where they could park and take pictures. We have to keep in mind, this is a military-trained combatant, my words, combatant. He knows what he's doing. He knows where to hide. He may still be alive, but I just made that observation. I'm concerned that they gave a little bit too much information out. I believe in transparency, but sometimes you could go too far.
A very interesting point there. Colin, your thoughts on this, but also on the importance, perhaps, of that suicide note that was found. And, of course, his car found abandoned. We know that those scuba divers are now searching the river near where the car was found. But just from your experience, piece some of those new details together for us.
Well, the biggest concern that I have is for the safety of those law enforcement officers as well as the city and the citizens around there, because if he has not taken his life, he's going to set up a suicide by cop situation. He's heavily armed. He knows the area. He knows the woods and the terrain. And I have deep concern that this is going to end up and very poorly. Obviously for him, it will, but certainly for those law enforcement officers. And then if they do find him in a cabin or some sort of structure, my concern would be secondary devices if he wants to set some explosives or something else off to take not only himself but other law enforcement officers with him.
Steve, I don't want to sound the alarm here. I don't want to scare anybody, but there is a chance Robert Card's not even in Maine at this point. If he had a plan, he could have very well gotten out of the state, correct?
Well, yes, that's right. But, Colin brings up a very good point. There was a scope on that rifle that he had. Now, when you have a scope, it's for long-range shooting, and he could have a night vision element to that. So, now that Colin says that, this guy, remember, he's trained in his mind now. Remember, we're talking about a mental health issue here. He may be in combat. He may be playing a role of being someone in combat. So the first priority, as Colin said, the safety of those officers now. They got to be very, very careful. But yes, he could be out of the state, out of the country, but we have to err on the side of safety no matter what they're doing.
Colin, we have about a minute left. I'd like to get your final thoughts, and then Steve, yours as well.
Well, my heart goes out to all those victims. This was an absolute travesty. This person needs to be brought to justice, and they need to stop him from his next move. And if he is alive, I believe his next move is to do more harm to other people.
Steve, go ahead.
Those officers out there, all of them, are God's angels. Believe me, they're putting their lives on the line. They're heroes. And we just need to keep them in prayer as well as everyone involved in this issue.
Absolutely. We can't speak enough about our thoughts and prayers out to the victims, their families going through this horrific situation. This is a demented person on the loose, and we certainly hope they catch him soon. Steve Rogers, Colin Schmitt, gentlemen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.